What's up, people? This is Ninad Kulkarni with Live Ball and Goodland Pickleball, and we are here for a new episode of the podcast. For this one, we have a very special guest with us. He is the organizer of one of the most successful tournaments in India. So let's welcome Mr. Gopal Tikmani. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Please.
Thank you.
So let's start.
Sure.
So thank you, Mr. Tikmani, for coming in.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
So for the abroad audience, can you please tell what big part you play in the tournaments? Because as an Indian pickleball player, I of course know you and your voice. So can you please tell them your exact job?
So to those of you all who don't know me, I'm Gopal Tikmani. I've been involved with pickleball for the past 7 to 8 years. I started off as a player when I was young, but then I slowly moved on to the management scene. I organize tournaments. I am mainly the person who drives the matches, who maintains that the schedule is being followed, the draws are being properly made and everything. And apart from that, I am treasurer of Mumbai Pickleball Association. I am assistant tournament director at All India Pickleball Association. I have managed over 35 tournaments over the past span of 6 years. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, he's the man who you see in every major tournament. He's always there announcing on the mic, managing everything. So he's the man of the tournament, yeah. So let's start with how a tournament works because it's a very curious thing. Many people want to know how does a tournament function, what are the technicalities behind it. So yeah.
So basically, when we are conducting a tournament, we get loads and loads of data through whatever registration website we use. So the first job becomes filtering out the data, and then human errors are obviously there, where a male registers into female doubles, an under 19 player registers into 50 plus doubles. So we have to filter that out, we have to clear out the data. After that, we proceed to the seedings. We see, okay, what categories are there, we have this ranking system. So we see that, okay, what is the past performance of the player, and then we proceed to give them seedings. And based on the seedings, we have this standard IPA format which we follow for draws. So we have a league stage followed by the knockout stage, and yeah, basically the back end is relatively easier because there is just a couple of us involved in the tournaments, like in the draws and everything. The main struggle starts when we are on the court managing the tournament. Something happens, we go half an hour behind schedule. You have 10 people shouting at you, "When is my match? When is my match?" Then again, you have some controversial line calls or something, so you have to handle all of those things. And then also it becomes when you have a whole lot of entries, there are multiple courts, so managing that becomes tough too. But yeah, I think with a proper team we are able to do that. But then again, the major challenges, if you ask me, arise on the tournament.
While ranking the players and deciding the draws, how do you rank a player? Because IPA is not following any, under my impression, not any particular ranking system, but they have their own RYP rankings, right?
Yep.
So do you use that data or what?
So basically, we consider all the past tournaments that the player has played, which were under the All India Pickleball Association. We consider those tournaments, their performances in those tournaments, along with some if they've represented like India on the international basis, or if they've played any international tournaments, we consider those too while we make this. So we have an internal ranking system. We don't give ranking points out, that is not known to the public. But inside in the IPA committee, we have this ranking system where we follow the points, which I can't disclose to you obviously because it is against the association rules. But we have this system where we give players seedings based on their past performances, the medals they've won, the number of matches they've won, how they've performed, and everything.
So behind the closed doors, the rankings are derived. So who are these people who actually rank the participants? How does that process happen? I am sorry, but I didn't get the answer I want, so I'm going to elaborate.
So basically, this is not ranking. This is what we are giving as seedings.
All right, yeah, seedings. Let's consider seedings.
Seedings. So we have this whole tournament committee that consists of me and that consists of other people too.
Who are these other people, if you can?
I'm not sure if I can answer that, but there are a couple who you would know. Like, I'm the assistant tournament director at All India Pickleball Association. There's Chetan Sanil, who's the tournament director and who's also been the IFP tournament director now. He's been nominated for that. So he gets to oversee all the tournaments that are happening internationally. So he's there along with me in the team. Then there's Om Kubal. Om Kubal, I think you'll know him.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the secretary at Mumbai
Yep.
Pickleball Association, and he's also involved in the tournament, like in the organizing process and giving the seedings. And so these are a couple of names that I can take in front of you. But apart from that, I'm not entirely sure if I can name the others.
All right, fine. That's perfectly fine. You're also a big part of the JMDYC community. So, what about that? How does JMDYC function? How does the tournament happen? It's a very famous tournament, of course.
Yeah. So if you want me to start from how pickleball started at
Yeah, of
JMDC,
course, yeah.
yeah.
The story
So
of GMD.
yeah. So we are a housing society. For those of you who are not aware, we are a housing society based in Korean West. We have 8 buildings. We have a small ground, and we used to have one concrete badminton court. Over there, we used to play badminton. But then there's Manoj Jadhav uncle. He is a resident of our society. He saw pickleball at one place. Then Manish Rao came in touch with him, and Manish Rao, Sunil Joshi, a couple of others came to GMDYC, and they demonstrated pickleball to us and everything, how it is supposed to be played and everything. I was pretty young at that time. I think I was 14, 15 years old. So I took it as a recreational sport, obviously. But then again, when once we started playing, we got so addicted, and there were so many of us playing. At the beginning, only eight odd people were playing, but then kids started playing, ladies started playing. So then we constructed 2 specific pickleball only courts in the ground, and from there, once the courts were constructed, we decided to hold the first JMDYC Open tournament that happened in 2019. We had fairly 120 odd participants back then, and since then it has grown like tremendously. Season 2 we had 160, season 3 we touched 200. So yeah, it's been growing. And then we also had the Friendship Cup Championship, which was a Inter Mumbai Club Championship that took place early 2020 before COVID, and that also we held at GMDYC.
What are the improvements you see in the happenings of these tournaments all over Mumbai, all over India? What can be done better? Because you are part of the internal team behind the doors and behind the curtains. So, what do you think can be done better, which will help you and the players too?
So when it comes to, I see the technicalities of it, right? So from the technical end, earlier we used to take registrations through WhatsApp, through calls, through Google Forms. Now we've got registration platforms through which we take registrations. So that helps us to get data in a pretty filtered out manner. So technically, I think everything's going good. Uh, Tournament softwares, I know you're going to come to it later, but yeah, tournament software also are a big point, and we are working towards it also. We and probably in Bainbridge, at the Bainbridge Cup, we were in talks, but due to a last moment technical glitch, we couldn't proceed with the tournament software. So technicality wise, I think once we have a tournament software which is being worked at the back end of IPA, I think we are very good. But when it comes to the other facilities of the tournament, be it refreshments, be it washrooms, be it all the small other things, that I think there is a lot of scope for improvement there. I think Bainbridge Cup, which happened, was the perfect example. Not the perfect, but yeah, it was
Ideal
the
example.
ideal example of what a tournament should consist of. We had a area where the players could warm up. We had proper division of courts. We knew who was going to play where, what category was going on where. We had this AC room where players could go and they could rest. We had the registration desk set up inside the AC room. We had stalls for refreshments and everything. So yeah, the Bainbridge Cup was a good thing, and I think as and when more entities start organizing tournaments, the other parts of the tournament will start getting better and better. But at this point of time, I feel yeah, we are in a pretty good spot. Like what we did 3 4 years ago, we've improved considerably.
As a tournament director, this is a question from a player, not associated with anything. From a player, when is All India Pickleball Association coming with the next big tournament? We had the Dink and Smash, the Bainbridge, but lately, what I personally feel as a player, the tournaments have not as been good as these. There has to be something big coming up. So, do we have anything?
Yes, so we have the next RYP ranking tournament, not RYP, we have the ranking tournament coming up on 28th, 29th, and 30th June. That is going to happen at Panipat, Haryana.
All right.
And then we are in talks for the next season of Dink and Smash 2. That is going to be bigger than the past 2 seasons, and we have quite a lot in mind. And recently, like last week, I think 3 or 4 days back, we also had the announcement of the World Pickleball League, which was done by Natekar Sports in association with IPA and in association with Sony Television. So that is going to be big. I think that is going to be televised across the OTT or across the Sony channel, and that is coming soon. Probably I don't know because I haven't heard a lot about it. and it's all the discussions are behind back doors. But I think it should be upcoming. Like the idea should take place. At least the first season should take place within the next 12 months. So yeah, a lot is going to happen. Panipat starting in June, and post that Dink and Smash season 3 is on the cards, and this World Pickleball League is on the cards.
What are your thoughts on different and multiple leagues forming in India? We have the MLP coming up. We have the Dink and Smash. There are leagues like Kharjam Khana Pickleball League. We had a Gujarat League recently. The auction was amazing. Now we have the World Pickleball League. So, what do you think? Why do we have these different leagues, and is it affecting what players are going to do in it? Because a player will be a part of multiple teams at the same point. It will be hectic, and the importance of the league, I feel, will be gone if there are too much of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. The importance might be gone, but if you see from a commercial perspective, I think leagues are the way to go because it is a good revenue generating business. You get owners, you get sponsorships. It is a fast game and you get all the eyeballs. That is the main motive of the organizers who do the league, to get eyes on the sport. But at the same point of time, if you look at it from the perspective of a player, obviously you would probably want to play more in your category if you want to make it as a pro. You don't want to be playing a lot of leagues, you want to be playing singles and doubles more probably. But yeah, the leagues are a good thing. But I think as and when time progresses, all the small leagues like the KGPL, KGPL has been going on for 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
It's a good league, but then again, KGPL is sustained. Dink and Smash is sustained for 2 years. World Pickleball League is a completely big thing that is coming up. The Gujarat League, that is a very big thing that has come up. So these handful of leagues are okay, but if we like start getting leagues one in every 2 months, then it becomes an issue. Like 5 big named leagues across the year are good. I think there was a league that took place in Tamil Nadu. TNPA organized
Yeah.
in November last year. So those are leagues at the small scale. They have good participation from their states, but at the same point of time, they are not as big as what probably the MLP is going to bring or what the World Pickleball League is going to be. So the small leagues, I think they are good commercially, but pro players and the players who want to make it big and who want to focus on it, I think they'll only focus on these big name 2-3 leagues so that they can focus on their individual events as well.
Being part of tournament director or directing the whole tournament, you have obviously observed players closely and know how they play, why they are so good and stuff like that. So if you were to make your own team in a pickleball league, who would that consist of? I'll give you categories, of course.
Okay.
You will need two men's open players,
All right.
two female opens players,
Okay.
two 35 plus men's open players, two 35 plus females open player, and you have to arrange them in a certain order that you have one singles player from the men's category and two doubles player in the doubles category for each gender, and one mixed doubles pair.
All right, so 8 players in total.
Yeah.
Okay. So I take Arman for sure. He has to be pick number one. The way he's been playing.
For which category
For
specifically?
singles.
For singles, all right.
Today morning I think he won gold in PPA Australia.
Yeah.
He's been playing phenomenally well. Aditya Ruhela was the best player in singles in India.
Was?
I am a believer that Arman has overtook him now.
All right, it's
a
personal thing, yeah.
Personal thing, but yeah, I think Arman is now the best singles player in India. Obviously, Aditya Ruhela, Tejas, Kuldeep, all of these are very close to him. But I think Arman, in my dream team, I would take Arman for singles.
All right, sure.
So then you need one for doubles. So that very tough call between Mayur, Harsh, and UV. Mayur, Harsh, and UV. Is the player going to play mixed doubles too?
It's up to you. You can have Arman play mixed doubles too, or
okay,
it's up to you.
It's tough. Mayur, Harsh, or UV? I don't know. I think I'll probably go with UV.
All right.
Because he's been playing fantastically well. I think the only hiccup he faced was a couple of days back due to the Eula paddle thing, which he wasn't allowed to use.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah. So I think that UV I'll take. So that's Arman, UV. Now you need two female open players. So I think Isha Lakhani I'll take in 35 plus.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll take probably Naimi and I'll take Vrushali.
Nice.
Naimi and Vrushali for the women. Then 35 plus women, I'll take Isha Lakhani. And 35 plus women other than Isha Lakhani, the second player.
It's up to you.
Give me some names. I'm pretty lost at the moment.
Priyanka Mehta we
Priyanka
have.
Mehta is nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
Priyanka Mehta is a good player. She recently played at the JMDYC Women's League. Yeah, Priyanka Mehta I'll take it.
all right.
And then 35 plus men. Now this is interesting.
We have a lot of
We have
players.
a lot of players, I
Even
know.
50 plus
Even
players are
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, we can have them in 35 plus.
that's the point. Now there's obviously Dhiren Patel, there's Himanshu Devaskar, then who else is in 35 plus?
There are many. We have
Help me out with
Yashodan
some names.
Deshmukh.
Yashodhan Deshmukh's there,
We have
Sameer
Mihir
Oak is there,
Khandelwal,
Mihir Khandelwal's there, yeah. Damn, it's
Vishal
tough.
Jadhav. There are
Vishal
many.
Jadhav, damn, that's tough. Do we have 35 plus singles?
No,
You don't have 35 plus
no,
singles.
we don't.
We have
Yeah, just
doubles.
doubles.
So I'll probably take Himanshu Devaskar and one more 35 plus with him.
Just take someone who plays good with Himanshu Devaskar.
Who plays well with Himanshu Devaskar? Who's Himanshu's doubles partner? Ashok Rohira played with him last, I remember.
I don't know.
Ashok Rohira played with him at the Ultimate Pickleball
Maybe
Championship.
Mihir Khandelwal.
Mihir Khandelwal and Himanshu Devaskar together.
All right, we'll discard that one.
Yeah, I'll probably take. If we are talking about doubles, then Vishal Jadhav is a very good singles player.
Yeah,
So
true.
is Dhiren Patel. But if you want doubles so specific, then with Himanshu Devaskar, I think I'll go with Vishal Jadhav.
All right. Who is going to play the mixed doubles then?
35 plus mixed doubles.
Yeah, 35 and open.
35 mixed doubles. I would have Vishal Jadhav, Isha Lakhani, obviously. Isha Lakhani with Vishal Jadhav. Oh, Vijay Menon is also a good 35 plus pick.
Yeah.
And Isha and Vijay have won the 35 plus gold in the past tournaments as well. Yeah, so for that I'll take Vijay Menon. Vijay Menon plays with Isha Lakhani, the mixed doubles over there.
All right.
And for the open mixed doubles, we'll have UV play with Vrushali.
Yeah, they have played.
They've played together and they've won also, I think.
Bainbridge and I think
Goa also they played together, if I'm not wrong. Bainbridge, Arman and Roshali played together.
all right.
Arman Roshali won and
They played in the celebration tournament.
celebration tournament they played together.
All right, so now we'll talk about the EULA paddles, whatever happened with them. The problem is that PPA and their parent organization UTP, they are claiming that they are going to be okay with the paddles. That's at least what we can make sense of, because they said that in the middle of the tournament we are not asking players to stop using that paddle. So we are going to go with that for at least this tournament which is going on. But in MLP Australia, I think people have stopped using the paddle. I think UV did post that he won't be using the paddle. But if PPA is okay with it, MLP has to be okay with it. But we can see they are not. And plus, if there are two organizations deciding which paddles are fit to be used on court and not, what are players supposed to do? And this has happened in India before too, a situation very similar like this. Your thoughts?
I think the thing with the EULA paddles, I read the statement by EULA. They say that it's just an administrative error from their end, and the players can keep using the paddles up to the version which was before that, and only this, and they haven't received any clarification from the organization that when will it be cleared or what, and they've acted immediately on it. But yeah, I think there are many fans of EULA right now, and it will be sorted earlier, like at the earliest. But then again, it comes as a bad mindset thing to the player, like UV said, and I agree with him, and I agree with anyone who has to change their paddle at the last moment. You've been playing with that paddle, you practice with that paddle, and at the last moment you're asked to use some other paddle, but not that, and that obviously affects the mind of a player. So yeah, all these things they affect the mentality of the player, and they should be avoided. But we can't. We are just spectators over there.
We are spectators. You're not. You're part of the organization. And what about the when the same thing happened in India? The YMAC paddles, they faced a lot of backlash and trouble. What about that?
But
do you have any say in it or any thoughts on it?
Again, it was resolved at the earliest. They got the approval, and now they are in use, I guess, all over India. There is no issues with them. So yeah, all of these are small administrative errors. Like we know that it's not a paddle that has some kind of spring in it or anything. Like there was a controversy in cricket that Ricky Ponting's bat has spring. It's not going to like turn me into a player who can defeat Arman in singles. Obviously not. But yeah, it's all of these are small administrative errors. But at the same point of time, once they're pointed out, they're resolved out pretty quickly. Like even with the YMAC thing that happened, they were resolved. They got the approvals, and now the paddles are in use. To the player, obviously, it becomes a challenge to them to change their paddles at the last moment. But apart from that, I think all these administrative errors, as and when the sport grows, at least in India, they'll be resolved very quickly.
A question about GMDYC.
Hmm.
I assume you're the host of the tournament. So why is there only a doubles category? Why don't we see singles there? Because as a player, I love the tournament, to be honest. The vibe and all is pretty great. But why don't we have singles there?
So the main problem we have is the number of courts.
All
So
right.
up till last year we used the 2 courts which we had in JMDYC. This year we took 3 more courts which we had from we took Global Sports was our venue partner, and we used the 3 courts over there across the 2 years. 2 days, my bad. So we've been using those. And this year we tried to get singles. We obviously had only 16 entries by invitation. But I think that was the first step towards implementing singles for all categories in the upcoming seasons. But yeah, the lack of courts is one main concern. And secondly, we've been getting so much of a response, be it in the underage categories, be it in the open categories. We have so much of entries that it becomes tough for us to accommodate that along with mixed doubles, along with singles. So yeah, this year we started off with invitational singles, but yeah, next year I can promise everyone that those every we'll have every category, be it underage singles, women singles, 50 plus singles, singles, doubles, mixed doubles. Next year we are going bigger than ever.
All right. Excited for that.
Yep.
Now, I want to ask you, what can we do about the rating system thing? Because every tournament, almost every tournament, is using a different rating system. Some are using PWR, some are using Duper. You're saying IPA has its own rating system behind the doors. So, what's the matter? If a player can't be properly rated if he wants to play all of the tournaments, firstly, I don't think that's really possible for anyone right now to play all of the tournaments. But if a player is to play, how are they going to be properly rated and treated correctly if they are not known their worth of?
So there are two things. Firstly, IPA, the behind the door system which IPA has, that is a seeding system which we use. We don't give. It's not a proper rating system that we say, okay, iska itna rating hai and this is that. That is those points we use for seedings.
All right, my
Now
bad.
coming to the players rating system, like you said, like PWR has, like Duper has. IPA is in process of making that. I think it should be launched with the new next ranking tournament which takes place at Panipat, and we have this whole concept. We have this conceptualized. We just have to put it, we have it on paper, we just have to put the software in, which is also, we are in the latter stages of it. So probably in the next few months IPA should have, like, you all should be able to see the rating system which IPA has. And yeah, all IPA tournaments that take place, we've divided into tiers, and I'm not sure if I can give details about it, but we have tournament tiers and how many points one person gets from the tournament and everything. We have that, so it is a very systemized rating system, and it should be out soon. And when it comes to the player's perspective, which you ask me, so yeah, it becomes tough for the player. Like, he has a different ranking at PWR, he has a different ranking on Duper, he has a different ranking at IPA, so it becomes tough for the player. But that is when I think the players need to focus on one particular direction. So if you are going to be associated with pickle, if you're going to be associated with IPA, so your main aim should be to get rating points in the IPA tournaments. If you're going to be associated with the PWR ranking system, then your aim should be to focus on those tournaments. The other tournaments you can obviously play if you're free and your calendar allows it and your fitness levels allow it. But apart from that, you need to figure out what rating system do you want to be a part of, and over that, your focus needs to be there. The other tournaments, obviously, if you see that it's commercially very good, you see that it's okay, you can play through it, your body is not asking you any questions about it, so why not?
Uh, well, thank you for the answer. But what I see is that if we have these different systems, and if not everyone is adopting one single system for ranking, how do we determine who is the best player of the country who should represent? Because we've seen in tournaments abroad, there are multiple teams from India going in, and there are multiple jerseys of India, which, to be honest, I'm not very proud of. It's weird to see. And if we don't stand united, then what's the point? This like defeats the whole purpose of Chak De India, that we are from India. It's not a single identity. What are your thoughts on this?
See, any sport you see, it is governed by a single board or single association. So for me, the team which goes and represents India internationally, the team which takes the name should be under the association, which is All India Pickleball Association, IPA. We have our own ranking system, and so it is. When you ask how do we determine who's the best player and of the country, it should be based on the ranking which is followed by the association, I feel. The PWR ranking system, that PWR is basically, they're doing a commercial thing. They are hosting tournaments, they're making money, and they're giving players ranking points. They're doing a commercial thing. When it comes to the proper rankings of the association, that is not what PWR is giving.
All right.
Neither is that what Duper is giving. Duper is giving any tournament you host on Duper, they'll give you rating points. I host a tournament, you host a tournament. We have multiple associations.
Mm-hmm.
If a player plays in both associations tournaments, he gets rating points on Duper. That is not the particular rating. The rating which is given by the association, that is the one that should be followed, and that should be used to determine. Now, I know that there is very, like, the whole rating system and whole there is a lot of blurriness
Mm-hmm.
about the whole rating system, but I think it will be sorted out pretty soon. And when it comes to Duper, PWR, all of this is commercially aligned. And I'm also not a big fan of multiple teams from India going, like, one association sends its team, the others form their own team and go. So yeah, but then again, you need to take the example of the Asian Pickleball Games that took place in Taiwan. They only took registrations through the registered association, which was All India Pickleball Association. So the players who played there in the Indian team were all the players who are registered and affiliated from the association. So that is one thing that was done internationally, which helped streamline this. Now, internationally, if the tournaments are conducted by the international body, like IPF conducts them, they will only take registrations, or they will only let the association's team represent the country. Now, the tournaments which take place privately, like the Thailand Open that takes place, or anything that takes place in the Pickleball World Series, I think that is
Yeah, yeah.
called, by Jan Papi. So anything that takes place there, that is open for all. They don't take entries through any association. Me and you, we can name a team India, we can have 6 players, and we can go there and play. So that is an individual's choice. But when it comes to streamlining things through the association, what happened in Taiwan was a very good example. And I think as and when time progresses internationally, as and when things get streamlined, because it's not just the problem of the country, it's problem internationally. So as and when things get streamlined over there, we'll also have things streamlined here.
All right. So coming back to the tournament part, this was very interesting. We'll come back to that later.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the tournaments. So how do you judge line calls? Because I think that's a very big problem. We don't have the bird eye or hawk eye as they call it here, and the referees, to be honest, are amateurs. Most of them. We have a couple of referees who have done the job in the past tournaments, but not every one of them has. And in some tournaments I have seen that players are just handed the marking sheet and they're told to be the referee. So how do you handle with bad line calls, and what's the system, and are we looking at something to solve this in the future?
So firstly, to err is human.
Mm-hmm.
All humans that are going to stand on the court, you and me, we both have different visions. If there is a very close line call, you will find it in, I might find it out, or vice versa. But we are working towards that. We have these referee clinics, which we have every 2 to 3 months, where we train the referees, we give them like controversial instances, we see how they act on it and everything. So the association is doing that on their part. When it comes to technological advances, in the last JMDYC Open, for the first time in Indian pickleball, we had the line review system, where each side got 2 reviews and they could see replays to figure out where the ball landed. But again, it might not be cost efficient for all the organizers. We JMDYC, we at our level, we want to give the best. That is why we had 6 different camera angles, and that is what made it possible in the finals. But then again, it is not time efficient, it is not cost efficient for the organizers. When it comes to, if you keep reviewing every league match also, then it becomes tough. So technologically, in the short term, I see, okay, in the big matches, in the finals and all, we can have line calls, 1 or 2 per set. But when it comes to the group stage matches, or when it comes to the intermediate categories, I don't see any technological advance happening there which can help with the line calls. But when it comes to the referees, yeah, they've been working on, and as and when more players start playing, the sport grows, there'll be more referees who will be uh, playing, and they'll more tournaments start happening. The more practice they get, they'll be able to make better decisions. I've seen a few howlers, but the howlers which were taking place 2 years ago have reduced by quite a lot. I don't know if you're aware of this. I was a referee myself in the Khar Gymkhana League, which took place in 2019.
All right.
Super Smashers won that, Neil Thakur's team. So I was a referee there, and I had to stand there for 12 hours straight. And I was doing linesman, I was doing refereeing, I was doing scoring, and it becomes a tough task. Like, we only see that the referees are giving the wrong calls, but if you see it from the perspective of the referee, he has to stand there, he has to look at every ball. It becomes tiring, and there are a few times when the decisions can go wrong. But then again, as and when they practice, as and when they get more affiliated with the game, they are bound to reduce. And I think once we have enough technological advancement, I think all the big tournaments, they'll have line reviews coming up soon, very soon. If not Hawkeye, we can have different camera angles and slow mos. That is very simple. And probably down the line, over the next 2 to 3 years, we might have the mid-tier tournaments have those technological advancements as well. And internationally, players give line calls. Over here, we don't have players giving line calls yet. We had in some tournaments, but that also leads to a controversy that they don't give correct line calls. Like, I played in Thailand when I went to Thailand 2 years back. I was playing, I had to give my own line calls, and that is at least better than a referee giving a wrong line call. But again, in India, with new amateur players, you don't know. There were professionals there who have been affiliated with the sport. But yeah, as and when time progresses, the referees will get more used to refereeing, and technology is always a plus.
How do you handle when players on court get, let me say, overwhelmed with emotions? We have seen a lot of outrages on the court too. If you remember the monsoon pickleball, we had Janvi Kapoor come in and something happened there. So your thoughts on that particular incident, and how do you handle these situations overall?
So players in the heat of the moment, they are bound to express their emotions. What happened at the monsoon pickleball finals? I think it was the finals of the men's singles or the
Men's doubles.
Men's doubles was unacceptable from my end, because that is not how pros should be reacting. But then again, it is part and parcel of the game. When you get into the game, the emotions come out and you have to express them. But again, as from the perspective of a tournament director, my job is to ensure that whatever happens stays on the court. And on the court, like, only pickleball is being played. There is no controversy. Okay, maybe one look here and there, one reaction, that is all right, because you can't stop that. But no arguments going on the net and arguing with the other person. That is not acceptable from our end. And whenever we see that such a thing happens in the tournaments which I have organized, I personally step in, or Chetan sir steps in, and we try to calm things down and get back to the game, because anything that can be sorted off the court. On the court, it should only be pickleball. But yeah, I don't blame the players. In the heat of the moment, it can happen. But when you are a pro and when you have that level, you should not do that. You should be on the court. We see, like, tennis legends. We see Djokovic argue with the umpire, throw rackets away. We see everything happening. So it is not. And pickleball is a growing sport. But again, favorite tournament on the court, it should only till now.
I
When it
remember
comes to
during the
individuals, I
monsoon
would say
outbreak which you just talked
Bainbridge.
about,
Alright.
we
When
were
it comes to
standing
leagues, I
together
would say
actually
Dinkin
by the
Smash.
camera,
Yeah,
and it
season
didn't
one
look like it was
and
unacceptable
season two
for you.
both are very
Because I
close to
wasn't
my
the
heart,
tournament
because it
director.
is an
Oh, all
initiative.
right.
If I'm the
planned out
tournament
by me,
director,
along
then
with a
it's
couple of
unacceptable
others.
for me.
All
If
right.
I'm a
Season
viewer,
one,
it's
all I
more
want
close
is
to my
drama
heart,
and
because
content.
that was
All
the
right,
first
nice.
step that we took in that
So,
direction
what's the
to
favorite
forming the
tournament
league
you
and
have
doing
hosted
that.
till now?
So, but Bainbridge tops all of them. The amount of matches, the number of courts, 5 days straight, Bainbridge tops everything.
About the Dinkin Smash Pickleball League, how does it work? Can you just explain? Because players are bought by points and stuff like that happens. So can you elaborate on that? Because you're the director, I think.
Yeah. So I'm the director. Yeah, you can. I don't have a particular post in that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm in the organizing team. So Dinkin Smash works like, for the first couple of years, we just wanted to do it as a proof of concept. So that's why we didn't offer real money to players. But now with the Gujarat League happening, they're offering real money, so that is good. We had virtual points and we refunded entry fees in the first season too. We just wanted to do it as a proof of concept that, okay, leagues work. So now once we have the proof of concept that leagues work, now we can commercialize it to the next level. So yeah, upcoming season we're planning to have players going for real money. Last season also we were planning that, but then we decided let's do one more season without that, because we got a large amount of players and the pool got bigger. But yeah, all in all, it comes down to be, it's a commercial event. It's mainly based on catching eyeballs and catching attention. It's not about a player displaying his prowess or her prowess. It's about the team, the emotions, and just catching the eyeballs. It's pure and proper entertainment. It's so I think as and when we progress with Think and Smash, obviously next season we are in talks for the real money auction. and things are going to get bigger. We are in talks of how we can increase participation, have different chapters for it. There's a lot going on in the back end.
What are your thoughts about gully pickleball, the idea of gully pickleball, spreading pickleball through the grassroots, creating clubs in such like JMDYC, and spreading pickleball that way?
So yeah, if you see, there are many of the societies have badminton courts, and all pickleball needs is a badminton court. Now, in the major clubs, which are sport clubs, so we had pickleball start in Goregaon Sports Club a few weeks back. We have it happening at Prabodhankar Thakre, that is PTKS. We have it Otters, Khar Gymkhana. All the major sport organizations, sport clubs, they have pickleball going. But when it comes to the smaller societies, in Goregaon, I know a handful of societies that do. That is Mangal Kripa, that is JMDYC, that is Anmol. All of these do. And we at GMDYC, we have also given demos. So we gave demos at Rustamji Ozone. We gave demos at a couple of other societies, and they've also started playing pickleball. So yeah, it's going to spread through word of mouth only, and by giving constant demos. So in Malad, there's an event that happens called Malad Masti.
All right.
So in Malad Masti, you can have a slot and you can demonstrate your things there. So we had Sunil sir, Chetan sir, we had them go over there and they demonstrated pickleball. Then Skechers का एक half marathon of Skechers took place. I think 6 8 months back, 8 months back with JMDYC Open, a class with JMDYC Open. Yeah, over there also we had laid a court and we gave our demo there. Then again, multiple organizations are trying to promote it. Like the commercial ones obviously won't try to get it into the gullies, because the main people who play in the gullies, they'll be playing for rec play, not for, they won't be helping commercially. Like obviously initial paddles and initial nets will be sold, but you can't see long term revenue from them. But the association part of it, from the association part of it, from Mumbai Association as well, we went to Chembur last week. We have got courts opened in Chembur, we've got courts opened in Pavai. All of these are common rec play, so anyone can come and anyone can play. We have courts open in Malad. There's a BMC park in Malad. We have courts over there called a PCC. Sunil sir started pickleball over there, so we have that going on too. So gully pickleball is growing, but again it comes on to the fact that revenue wise, the cost of playing the sport is a bit high for the players in gully pickleball right now. If I am a new player, I can play gully cricket because a tennis ball costs 60 rupees, a rubber ball costs 25 rupees, a bat is available anywhere. But when it comes to pickleball, buying a paddle, which is like the cheapest paddle is 2.53K, buying a ball, which is a good ball, is 120, 130 rupees, 100 rupees. So that all becomes four paddles, one net. So that is not cost efficient for it to be every other gully like cricket is, or like not even football is at the moment. But yeah, as and when I think more and more people get to know about it, it will spread at the association level. Mumbai and all India, we are trying to do it. We signed a partnership to IPA signed it, I think, to promote it over 1,000 schools as well and everything. So that all of that is happening. So yeah, gully pickleball is going to grow in India. The cost wise, I think the paddles are also becoming cheaper. Like when I bought my first paddle, I bought the cheapest paddle, which went for 4,000. That was the Selkirk Neo Composite, I think. So that went for 4,000. Now we have the cheapest paddle that comes for 2.5, 2K, 3K,
Around that range.
around that. Yeah. So as and when the prices go down and the reach spreads of the sport, people start taking interest, it will grow because it's a very simple sport to play too. So yeah.
All right, enough corporate talks. I'm pulling up a rapid fire for you now.
Cool.
So let's start with the rapid fire now.
Cool.
Sure. First question: what's your favorite pickleball memory?
As a player, winning the gold at Bainbridge for the team event, and as an organizer, obviously organizing Bainbridge Cup.
All right. Something you wish didn't happen to Indian pickleball.
All the stuff that is happening right now in the associations and the private entities and everything.
All right. Your favorite players in every category, Indian.
Favorite players in every category. Give me the categories.
Men's Open, men's Opens, women's singles, juniors, doubles.
Okay.
And only one.
Only one. Okay. So men's Open, my favorite player is Ninath Kulkarni.
Thanks.
But on a serious note, doubles wise. Okay. Doubles wise, it becomes Mayur Patil.
All right.
Singles wise, Arman.
Uh-huh.
And or Aditya Rohila. Women, doubles wise, Isha Lakhani. Women singles wise, I think Snehal Patil. Juniors, Aditya and Arjun Singh from JMDIC. Fabulous. girls Pearl and Naomi. And seniors you want?
No, it's alright.
Yeah, that's a tough topic.
Your favorite food?
Favorite food? Favorite food is probably anything with mushrooms.
Alright.
I'm just kidding, paneer.
Funny.
Eh,
Your pickleball superstition?
Pickleball superstition is that before every tournament, I think something's going to go very wrong, and that is why I. It is a thing that every night at 3 o'clock, I wake up, I call my best friend, and I tell him मेरा tournament है. And whenever I talk to him, apparently I think that he's my lucky charm. He tells me it'll go all right, and it goes all right.
Your favorite pickleball shot?
My favorite pickleball shot is the backhand around the post. I barely hit it, but yeah, that's my favorite.
Your favorite drink?
My favorite drink is मम्मी मैं दारू नहीं पीता इसके लिए I'll say lemon soda.
मम्मी कान बंद कर लो,
मम्मी
बताओ.
मम्मी का हाँ but favorite drink beer.
Okay. A pickleball personality you hate the most?
I hate the most pickleball personality. There's no one I hate in the pickleball community.
Now
It's
cuff and say the name.
it's it's a very loving and prosperous community. There is no bad blood between anyone.
Please.
There's no I generally don't hate anyone.
Alright. Your pickleball crush?
My pickleball crush. I have a lot of crushes outside pickleball. I think it's better I don't have one in pickleball.
Alright. Can you mimic someone who plays pickleball?
Mimicry. Okay, I can do that. I won't take the name. You all have to guess it in the comments. But अरे गोपाल तू देखा क्या मेरा बैकहैंड नहीं गया रे तो इसको आज तक मैं 3 बार खेला है 3 बार इसको आ रहा है इससे हारेगा क्या मैं आज खाली बैकहैंड नहीं गया कल रात को नींद बराबर नहीं आना मेरे को इन मोर मराठी एक्सेंट
अच्छा चलो ठीक है. Who calls you a night before the draw?
Who calls me a night before the draw? No one. Just either Chetan sir or Om Kubal that everything's in shape and we are good to go.
No one outside pickleball?
No one outside pickleball.
Alright. Who's that one guy who says Gopal मेरा मैच जल्दी लगा दे?
Who's that one guy who says Gopal मेरा मैच जल्दी लगा दे? I think Himansh says that a lot. Himansh Mehta. Gopal मेरा मैच कब है? Gopal मेरा मैच कब है? He's every 10 minutes he comes and asks मेरा मैच कब है? मेरा मैच कब है?
Do you like Himansh Mehta?
I like Himansh Mehta. Why would I not like him?
Alright. Do you think that in every tournament we should have a standardized court? Because in some we see that the backspace is just lacking, the nets are different, the cords are different, even the balls are different. What can we do about that?
Yeah, so from the association level, we are working on this set of requirements that every court needs to fulfill. So there needs to be a certain amount of backspace, there needs to be a certain amount of distance between two courts, all the net dimensions, the court dimensions, the surface, everything needs to follow that. And we are working on that towards the association level. And when it comes to as an organizer, obviously I've seen in Goa there was a lot of space in the Goa tournament in the bags. Then I've seen other courts where there's barely some space. But I don't think we can do anything about it at the moment. Obviously, we should standardize it, which we are doing at an association level. But apart from that, we don't have standardized pickleball courts. We are laying mats somewhere or we are drawing lines somewhere. So we have to adjust to the conditions. But hopefully, soon enough, I think all the private entities that also hold tournaments, when they are holding them, they are laying down mats at some non pickleball surface so so they can standardize it and they have things like that. But apart from that, when you play at a badminton court or when you play at a pickleball court, I think as and when the game progresses we'll have more of standardized courts.
I'm going to ask you about the draws again.
Okay.
Do you think there are any biased draws in the industry? Because I'm going to assume that you make unbiased draws, which I
Okay.
hope is right. But as a tournament director, you may notice that there are some flaws in draws of other tournaments and other organizers.
So yeah, again circling back to the point we talked about initially, there are different organizations, there are different ranking systems, there are different points. Now in Duper, I have this friend called Sakshat Shetty. He's a good player. He has like 0.3 rating points less than what Harsh Mehta has, and the game is completely different, obviously. But in Duper, if you were going to give seedings via Duper, he would be a very higher seed compared to that. No disrespect to Sakshat or Harsh, but there's quite a big gap in their games, and I think Sakshat would agree with me on this. And then again, it comes to if there's this PWR ranking system. If I'm not a good player, but let's take for example someone like Vanshik. Vanshik hasn't played any PWR tournament. He goes there. His ranking is over there is it does not exist. So then it comes on to the organizer's merit on how good they think that player is, because they are not going to use the ranking points given by Duper or given by IPA, and neither is any of these going to use the other one's ranking points. So then it comes to the merit of the organizing team to decide how good that player is, and that is what leads to some controversies sometimes, because one person's view on a particular player and the other person, by person I mean here the committee,
Mm-hmm.
that might be totally different. Like, so that may lead to, but I don't call that unbiased. No one is putting draws knowing that okay, he is not a player who's affiliated with us, so let's give him a lower seeding. Obviously not. Neither are we doing it, neither is someone else doing it, no one else is doing it. So I think it's not unbiased. There is obviously a bit of here and there because of the things and the differences that exist between the organizing teams. But yeah, I won't call them unbiased. But there are some hiccups here and there. I don't see there are any howlers that okay, if a good player from IPA is playing a global tournament or a global player is playing an IPA tournament, that we'll give them a considerably low seeding or a considerably high seeding. I don't think that's the case.
There has been a new controversy created again for the Mumbai Open because there has been offers of beer on the court and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And are you a part of the organizing team then?
I'm not a part of the organizing team at the Mumbai Open. I think that has been done by Gold Leaf Entertainment. They are behind everything. They are organizing everything. And
All right. So, what are your thoughts on it?
what are my thoughts on it? On a personal level, obviously, if you're looking at it, one beer does no harm to anyone, if you ask me. But again, everyone has their different capacities. But if you're just looking from the perspective of recreational play, then obviously it does no harm. And they haven't specified that okay, when you register you have to drink the beer and you have to play. They haven't specified that. They could be giving out beers once all the matches end at the night, so that is not an issue. They could be giving it out with lunch or dinner or whatever. It's not like you have a beer can, you drink a sip, then you serve the ball. It's not going to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as it's not involved on the court and the players are not drinking and playing, so then all of that is good, I think. But if it's like after the matches end, if you're just serving it with dinner or something of that sort, then it's not an issue, because not it shouldn't come on the court. I think outside the court it's okay.
Let's get to the interesting part. What are your opinions and views on the mess Indian pickleball is in right now? We have multiple organizations trying to, I'll say, take the lead, take the charge of India as a country representing
Mhm.
outside. And then we have players who are being treated like pawns for just contracts and very big amounts.
Mhm.
We have players who are suffering because of this. There are many controversies, many problems.
Hmm.
Your thoughts on this not being affiliated with IPA?
Okay, being or not being affiliated with IPA won't change my thoughts on this. But again,
All right.
when it comes to, I'll talk about the commercial organizations first. When it comes to the commercial organizations, their aim is to get money into their pockets, get money for the players, and make money. That is their own motive. For making money, obviously they'll need to promote the sport. They'll need to open courts. So they are going to grow the game. The associations, the different associations, all of their motive is to grow the game. So technically, everyone is sharing from the same pie, but it is like the association is not inclined towards making money. It is not a business. Its main aim is to ensure that the game flows smoothly, there are no hiccups anywhere, and the players get to grow and they get a chance to represent on the international level. When it comes to the business organizations and the commercial organizations, their aim is to open courts, get new players, get money from them, gain sponsorship, sponsor these players and contracts. And I don't see like it is a bad thing for the players. I think all the players that have signed with these commercial organizations, they are probably doing well because they are getting a chance to participate, and they're getting more exposure. Even with the association has some players who are under their ages, and they are also getting a chance to grow. So I don't see that it's a bad thing for the players. But yeah, organize, like, from management wise it is a mess somewhat. But again, the major, I think there are multiple associations, but eventually the one affiliated with the international body, which is IPA, which is affiliated with the IPF. And yeah, I think sooner or later it should be all merging down into one association, IPA, and everything should be flowing from there. Obviously, I don't know the internal differences that are among all these different associations. But yeah, I think that sooner or later these differences should be resolved for growing the game, and probably they will be, because once everyone gets the same consensus that okay, we are sharing from the same pie, then the most logical decision is joining forces and growing the game together.
Do you have any solution? Because we have been seeing pickleball in India for like around 15 years. No one is giving up. They are not, holding their guns down, not pulling down the barrel. Everyone has the gun on their necks, each other's neck. So what can we do? No one is giving up.
I think it is, everyone likes power. That is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to give up power. If I want power, I'll open my own association. I'll get power. I'll be at the top of the association. Everyone wants it. But what I think, like the other associations, they've been coming and going, coming and going. IPA has been staying strong since the conception under Arvind Prabhu sir and under Sunil Jiwalavalkar sir. And I think, if I don't know, and I just as a normal person, I think IPA will soon take the lead and take the initiative. And I think there have been talks also in the past of everyone coming under IPA, and IPA being the driving force. And at this point of time, what I see from pickleball, IPA is the driving force of Indian pickleball. In obviously in some states there are other associations. There's someone down there in the south. There's someone down other in Gujarat. But again, I see IPA is the driving force because internationally as well, IPA is the one who's taking the effort, sending players out. Not talking about the commercial organizations. They are doing it. Global Sports is sending their players out. They are not an association. They are just doing it for business and for the good of their players. Association perspective wise, I think IPA is doing a very immense job. Now, even they signed a 5-year deal with Skechers.
Sketches, yeah.
That is a very big accomplishment, because Skechers being your kit partner, IPA and Skechers being together on the same shirt, same kit bag internationally, is a very big, it's a very big say that okay, in All India Pickleball Association is going places, and that is like an immense thing that has been done by IPA. And sooner or later, I think that once more and more it should be dependent by the players. I think once the players get to know that okay, this is where I'm getting the most amount of benefit from, they should be aligning towards that, because they should see that okay, this is where I have scope of growing, this is where I have scope of not growing. So where you have the scope for the maximum growth and maximizing your potential, I think eventually they will figure it out. And I think that okay, going down the line, all of this mess would, once it's a ticking time bomb, the pickleball. Once it explodes, it's going to spread everywhere. And once it explodes everywhere, all these differences will be set aside, all of this mess will go away.
If you were to be head of a governing body of Indian pickleball, what would be your first action?
What would be my first action if I was the head of the governing body of pickleball? I would call a meeting with all the other associations and like the heads of them. Obviously, they might or they might not respond. But my main aim would be to come on a general consensus and merge everything together. Obviously, if they are not agreeing to it, then I'll try to expand from like from the governing body which I am. I'd like to expand as much as I can, grow it as big as I can, so that eventually any eventually everything gets streamlined through my governing body, like the governing body I am part of, not my governing body. But yeah, first action would be to bring everyone to a general consensus. If not, then we'll have to fight for power.
That's what's going on.
I don't think that's what's going on. Everyone has their own amount of power, but at the end of the day, I think it is very visible to the third person that the major chunk and the major players and everyone has understood that okay, the game is going to prosper more under IPA, more under the leadership of Arvind Prabhu. The game is going to prosper more because of the things he's done for the sport and everything. This World Pickleball League, which IPA is coming up with, that is probably the biggest league we are ever going to see in India, and all of that has been done under his vision and under his team. So I think it is very evident to the third person and to the other associations as well. It is very evident that okay, All India Pickleball Association is doing the job. They are driving, and I won't say that okay, the other associations are just doing time pass. They are also taking efforts, and which is good, like it should be, because at the end of the day, the aim of me, the aim of you, the aim of All India Pickleball Association, everyone's aim is to grow the pie, grow the sport, which even other associations are doing. That is good, but the amount of efforts IPA has put in, the amount of levels IPA has cleared in the past 3 to 4 years post COVID, I think that is immense. And going on, I think the players will also understand that okay, this is the one who is crossing bases, this is the one who is taking the efforts at an association level, and they will sooner or later get themselves inclined with the association.
All right. So the next question: there are obviously differences between functioning of a private organization and entity and IPA or something like IPA. So is this causing bad blood between the two organizations and again causing a mess?
I don't think there is bad blood between a private organization or a commercial organization and the governing body. Obviously, there are differences because the association doesn't want to earn money. The private organizations obviously have the aim of earning money, and they're not wrong in doing that. The only thing is that the mess that is caused by players going here and there, I don't know, transferring of players, stealing players, whatever people are calling it outside, that creates a mess. But at the end of the day, if you see it from the, if I'm talking from the perspective, if I had a business organization, if I had a commercial organization, I would be aiming to do that to earn money. I want players to represent me, I want them to attract sponsorships, and my aim is to earn money. I don't care the if there are ethics involved, or if there is, if the sport is growing, or if it is more players are playing in the lower tier cities. I
Mm-hmm.
have my main aim is to catch attention in the main tier cities, Mumbai, Bangalore, everything, and my aim is to earn money out of it and send players outside and build my brand. That is what I'm doing as a commercial organization. That is where the differences start between the commercial organizations and a governing body, because the governing body doesn't want to earn profits.
Mm-hmm.
It wants to ensure that the sport grows, everyone plays it, and there is no unethical stuff going around. So that is the issue, I think, between the both the organizations. But at the same point of time, I won't call it bad blood, but yeah, differences do exist, and I think both the associations and the commercial organizations are well aware of that fact. But we can't do anything about it. At the end of the day, we are all going to eat from the same pie.
We just have to live with it.
We just have to live with it. Yeah.
So thank you people for tuning in and watching. This was Ninad Kulkarni and Gopal Tikmani on Live Balls with Goodland Pickleball, and see you in the next one. Bye.